Once Carson Wentz and all 28 million of his salary came to the nation's capital, the pickings became mighty slim and the Commanders' cap situation became dismal. Yet they have managed to keep their heads above water with this 2022 roster. The Commanders spent 20.5 million on injured players in 2021, only second to the New York Jets and well above the league average of $13.5 million. So the question is, where are they saving money and where are they spending too much? Let's get into it. We got the Brinks truck here, and if you are a numbers guy or girl, this one is for you. Welcome to the Sidelines Washington YouTube channel. Obviously, subscribe and turn on notifications like it says in the intro, guys. I'm your host of the Sidelines Washington podcast, where we come to you guys weekly. Parker Hamlet. We've got a bunch of great guests on that show, as per always. If you want to find us on all social medias, of course, click the link tree in the description below. But the Martys are at work in this Commanders front office, and how does this spending on their roster fare compared to the rest of the league at each position? Who are the cap commanders? I automatically assume that we spent the most on quarterback, but we actually have only spent sixth most in the league at the NFL with $28 million salary with Carson Wentz in 2022. Taylor Heineke at $3.5 million, and of course you have Sam Howell on the rookie contract. But the question remains, where are the Commanders spending the most money? The answer would be cornerback. $32 million in 2022 is going to this secondary, the fourth most in the National Football League. And, of course, last year, free agent acquisition, William Jackson III had a rough first tenure. A lot of people blaming on JDR, obviously not using William Jackson III to his strength. But Kendall Fuller, of course, a top 10 corner, 27 passes defended in the last two seasons, 16 in 2021. He allowed less than 10 yards per completion and had 77 tackles, one of the more physical corners in the National Football League. The Commanders also spent a hell of a lot on this unit last season. Like I said, for them to allow 34 passing touchdowns, which is the most in the league, and had the 29th ranked passing defense. So they definitely have not gotten their return with this core, spending the fourth most in the National Football League at the position. Of course, obviously at just an absolute murder's row of quarterbacks they faced last year: Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen. But there is no onslaught this year for the Commanders, having one of the easier schedules in the National Football League. Just kind of skip around some other position groups. The Commanders spent $2 million more at wide receiver at $34 million. And a chunk of this, of course, going to Curtis Samuel, who helped distribute to the wasted money in 2021 with his $12.6 million salary. Commanders have the fifth most in the league in 2022 at the wide receiver position after Terry McLaurin just got his recent extension. Then we go to running back, which is the 32nd ranked in the NFL as far as, how much they spend. J.D. McKissick being the highest paid running back guy in this room at $1.9 million. Antonio Gibson, $1.35 million salary in 2022, looking for a big payday, of course, which is crazy. He led the NFL in fumbles last year. But he was actually only behind Jonathan Taylor in rushes for first downs. And, of course, you had Brian Robinson Jr. on the rookie deal to the mix, not like Sam Howell in the quarterback room. Some of the other position groups that definitely caught my eye. At linebacker, the Commanders 17th in the league with Jamin Davis making the most out of this unit. Jamin Davis still on a rookie contract, $3.1 million last year. That's first-round draft pick money, but definitely not a lot. You got Cole Holcomb, kind of being the general here, making less than that. Of course, the Commanders getting a bargain at safety, $6.5 million, which is 29th in the league. You got Cam Curl making under $1 million, $923,332 in 2022 on his rookie contract. Obviously, added responsibility with Cam Curl. Then you go to tight end, $9.5 million total. Logan Thomas making the brunt of that. You lose RSJ, but that's 17th in the league as far as how much the Commanders paid. Defensive tackles, however, definitely different. 13th in the league as you move up a couple spots, which is definitely great considering Jonathan Allen, of course, got his extension last summer, and he doubled his quarterback hits and pressures from 15 to 30 and has had 60-plus tackles in the last 4 seasons. Then you go to defensive end on the outside of that defensive line. 22nd most in the league as far as spending, 18.4. You got Chase Young on the rookie deal at $9.4 million. And then you have just an absolute steal a lot along the lines of Cam Curl, $3.7 million for Montez Sweat, who has been more productive than Chase Young in this, of course, front four. And then you go to the offensive line, $43.4 million. Andrew Norwell and Scott Turner combined $5.78 million. That's no Brandon Scherf. That's with Leno extended. That's Sam Cosmi on a rookie deal. Chase Uriah on a team-friendly deal as well. First extension of the Rivera era. So a couple of those position groups certainly stand out. Which one of those surprised you guys? Obviously, I expected quarterback to be number one, but, you know, cornerback and wide receiver are neck and neck, and neither one of these units really living up to how much the Commanders have invested in them. Commanders also having a top 3 offense on paper fiscally. So a lot of really surprising numbers coming out of this. And, you know, you got to give them credit for some of the bargains that they have. Of course, the running back position with the production they get out of that. You know, then you just take a look around at some of these other ones. The Martys are cooking, and I do like what they're doing here. Plenty of money to go around, but when you have a cumbersome quarterback contract with Carson Wentz, that certainly doesn't help. But I certainly like how this Commanders roster is looking going in 2022, and it was very interesting to kind of sit down and really compartmentalize and look at exactly who is getting how much. It'll be very interesting to come back to this, of course, at the end of the year as well. But who do you think the Commanders are spending too much money on? Who do you think they're spending too little money on? You had some great deals in there like Cam Curl. Leave it in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Who was the best bargain? But, of course, all things Sidelines Sports Network and Sidelines Washington, click the link in the description for the link tree. You can find us in the audio realm. Like I said, we come to you guys weekly with the Sidelines Washington podcast, where I have just a plethora of phenomenal guests. But until next time, Sidelines YouTube, peace.